Hi, this is a story called McEnroe Without the Talent. The period of 1970 to 1973 was the most exhilarating part of my career, but in some respects the hardest one too. I was in with the big guns from April 1971, and it was to be an eye-opening experience for me. A benchmark of where I was came a year later with a 6-1, 6-2 defeat against Essex number 1, John Lloyd. I could glam this up a little by exaggerating the score slightly, but what would be the point? I was proud to be competing with, and indeed taking games against players of this calibre. Many of these young opponents were to go on to compete on the world stage. My aim then was to try to narrow the gap between myself and this type of opponent. I've done this throughout the junior ranks and believed I could do so again. It would prove to be an impossible task for me, but one that I'm nonetheless proud to have undertaken. The match with Lloyd started with him serving. Now, unless you've actually played against someone of this standard before, you can have no idea just how good they really are. At first, I couldn't even return serve without the ball flying off to the side fence, as nobody had ever served at me quite like this before. And faulty love, I got one back and followed it with one of my best shots, the lob. I looked up, expected to see him running back for it, just like everybody else I'd ever played against had done, only to see him smash it past me with consummate ease. He seemed to be everywhere. We changed ends and I was thinking to myself, how do I even win points against this guy? 2 minutes later, I'd held serve to 15 and the tension left me. I then relaxed and enjoyed every minute of the match. As a learning process, it was brilliant. But playing at this level also got me out of the winning habit, and I was definitely losing some very winnable matches as well. We had no sponsorship or financial support at this time, and it was a great strain on the family. I remember one match where I was playing against a much higher ranked opponent. I got to 5-all in the second set when I broke a string. I had another racket, but that was also broken, so I just carried on playing. The other guy's face was a picture as he noticed the broken string whilst placing the balls onto my racket at the next changeover. At one point, I was even competing with rackets strung by my dad. No, we couldn't afford a stringing machine of our own, so he just made one out of the jack of a car. Not too sure about the tension there, Dad, but at least I never played with a broken string again. My biggest problem on court, though, was an ability to self-destruct. I had, and still have to this day, an incredible passion for tennis. It was a passion that I was eventually able to channel in the right direction. At this time, though, I was saddled with a temperament that was a complete nightmare. A difficult thing to admit to, but the truth nonetheless. If I were to use the expression McEnroe without the talent, maybe you'd understand the problems I was having at the time. At least McEnroe was winning a few matches from time to time to cheer him up a little bit. I desperately needed help in this area, but even here, our working class status and the lack of finance it entailed was a big handicap for us. But then psychiatrists didn't come cheap, even as long ago as 1972.